Hello again, and welcome to another garden tour. This time I'm visiting a garden of Ryönänhovi, which is a private garden in the municipality of Mäntyharju in Finland. It's a very warm day today, almost 30 degrees on Celsius scale, and for the moment I can see no clouds in the sky, so I believe it's gonna be very sunny too. Truly a perfect day to visit this beautiful garden. Like I mentioned at the beginning, this is a private garden, but the owner likes to keep it open for a few days during the summer. I've come here today with a quite large group of fellow garden enthusiasts from the local garden association which I'm a member in. In fact, I didn't even know that this garden exists before hearing about it through the association. Which I think goes to show that it's good to join groups of people who share the same interests as you do. As an entirety, this place is quite old, a country estate, dating all the way back to year 1664. And even though these days this is a very beautiful garden, I know this already because I've seen pictures before I came here, the name of the place says something else entirely. For the name Ryönänhovi, if translated directly, means to say that this is an old noble court that has accumulated all sorts of filth and nasty dirt for decades. But the owner told us that the name of the place is in fact something of a joke given to the place by the local villagers some decades ago when the times were poor, the estate wasn't doing very well, and it was quite simply neglected for an extensive period of time. And then for some reason the name stuck. So even though this has nothing to do with the present state of the place, the official name still stands as Ryönänhovi. Here are some beautiful dahlias, very delicate looking and lovely colors. I will do my best today not to film the other members of the group in any recognizable way, so that I won't disturb them. The white peonies there are a showstopper, aren't they? And I can see some ground-covering roses here too. I would like to know what this variety is, for these are very pretty too. And aren't these just the most beautiful steps that you've ever seen? It's like the nature herself has created them. As you can see, there's a greenhouse and a kitchen garden on the right, but let's see that a bit later, for I would like to see the main garden, if you like, first, to get a sort of whole picture of the main garden. I'll try my best to keep you along in this tour. So that's where we came from. You notice the white peonies, and there behind that flowerbed island was the greenhouse area. And as we continue checking out the right side, there's this pavilion with a deck and table and chairs, nice seating area surrounded by flowers. Then going back to the left side from where we came again, there are these huge rhubarbs and these bushes or small trees, I believe, are lilacs. We now arrived to the south-facing side of this house and garden. In my books, this is the most striking, grandest garden area in this estate. There are several of these flowerbed islands here, and it would be very difficult indeed to decide which one is the prettiest, for they all look absolutely gorgeous, at least if you ask me. No doubt the views from the upstairs window are gorgeous out to the garden. In this flower bed, there's a mix of sage, geraniums, and peonies, among other things. All the colors mixed together very harmoniously. Backing up a bit from the house, this is where the flowerbed islands start. And again they have used these gorgeous natural blocks of stone to create clear divisions between the lawn and the flower beds. The lawn here naturally plays the part of pathways. There's so much to see here in relatively random patterns that I don't quite know from where I should film first. Therefore, I do apologize if this seems like I'm jumping all over the place. And there's no way I'm gonna start naming all the plants here. But the interesting observation that I've already made is that they are using quite a lot of the same plants around this garden in different places, which is of course always a very good strategy, because you can sort of create harmonious transitions and feeling of continuity when the same plants repeat themselves over and over again around the garden. We have had quite a dry weather period here in southern Finland, and this is the first place where I'm noticing some signs of that drought. But it's still very beautiful here too, and I believe the owner said that because of climate change and these more extreme weather periods, they have already started to change their plantings towards these more drought-tolerating plants in order to be better prepared for changing conditions. There's a lovely big oak tree there on the right, which I love because I love big trees. In fact, there aren't very many of these bigger trees here, especially when you look at the center of the garden. In fact, I'll just kneel down here for a moment to try to get a feeling of what this garden would be like if there were more of these bigger trees here. And here's a very small flower bed, perhaps a beginning of a larger one, but it has an interesting mix of, I think, perhaps thyme of some sort, and again I think those might be ground covering roses, or then some smaller shrub roses. It's an interesting mix in any case, I think. That's the direction we came from a moment ago. But as you can see, these flower beds, they continue on this side too. And as you can see further at the back, there are bigger trees too. I believe at some point the garden changes into a forest there. And in between here, I think there's a little archway. But I'm not going to attempt to go through, since it seems to be a bit overgrown. I'm not sure what these beautiful white roses are, and neither can I go and guess the variety of the sage here, but it seems both are doing very well. Here I think they've made a quite interesting change to berry bushes, perhaps blackcurrant. But I missed those red spots. What are them? Let's try to take a closer look. Are they some roses? Quite small ones though. They look nice with the shades too. And like usual, the bees love the sage. There must be something very good in there for them to eat. I'll now try to give you a 360 view of this garden from this spot here that I feel is a good advantage point to take a look at the main garden and see all the directions that it leads to. And on the left there, as you can see, that's a big tree. Very nice and grand. Big tree. Very fitting to this kind of grand estate. And from here one can also clearly see that there's still plenty of lawn left. So, in case the owners want to expand their flower beds or make much more of them in the future, there is room. There is room for expansion here. Indeed, that robot lawnmower there must be quite powerful to do the work here. And just in case this place didn't feel dreamy enough for you, there's also a lovely lake that this place just happens to sit upon right on the horizon. This huge multi-trunk tree here is a willow tree. And indeed, if you have the space, it's a very nice tree to have, for it covers a lot of ground. And I mean that quite literally, because it doesn't grow only high, but also very wide, so it casts a shade to a wide area. Indeed, you can imagine how you could have several picnic blankets under the shade of this tree during the afternoon sun and just rest, take it easy, cool off, perhaps take a swim, occasionally too, since there is the lake here. In the middle of all this beauty, there is a little thing that has started to bother me though. And I think I can best explain it if I show you an old picture that I found from the website of the owners of this place. They have published only this one picture of how the garden used to look in the past, but when I saw this, I instantly realized what I'm missing in this garden today, and that is purpose. Right at this site here, they used to have an orchard with a clear structure, central alley, lots of decent sized apple trees, and flowing fields underneath them. Today, although this garden is probably much more beautiful when it comes to all these lovely flowering plants and diversity, I'm struggling to understand the purpose and structure of this flower bed island area. There are no designated seating areas here to come, for example, and rest, nor are there any play areas for croquet or badminton or whatever. Luckily though, lacking purpose isn't really a problem at all in a vast garden like this. If I would be lucky enough to own this garden, I would be thirsting for ideas for functions to place out here. And I would be happy to strengthen this kind of classic English country garden style that they have already started here. Or I might go for this more like a landscape garden style with park-like structures. In any case, I would widen the flower beds even more, make the pathways somewhat clearer, and if I couldn't come up with any other functions, I think I would simply place park benches here and there to enjoy the journey and different views in this beautiful garden. Before you think I'm cuckoo crazy, I realized that those ideas of mine would require a lot more work here. But I am the type of dreamer who likes to plan how I could make those work. Of course, when the flower beds would grow a lot from their present size, they would have to be more low maintenance, meaning that the plant choices would partly have to be different. The fastest and easiest solution would be that the flower beds would be more natural in their design. Now, however, I will be leaving this area, and there's still those couple of areas to check out that we only passed by when I came first into this garden. This very beautiful pavilion area hardly needs any introductions at all. It has the clearest function you can think of, and the structure is also very clear. All the functions are in the middle, and the lovely borders surround the people resting there from all sides. Look at these gorgeous peonies again. I think the owner mentioned that they have mostly clay soil, which sort of explains why the peonies do so well here. And if you add any manure to the mix while planting them, I think that's a winning recipe for peony success. Here I see the peonies are repeated again, along with many of the other flowers that have also been seen around the garden already. Let's just take a peek at what's at the back here too. Here's a nice sort of hidden pathway. This is really very much to my taste. It has this sort of secret garden vibe to it. And down there, we are not gonna visit those gardens today. There's this much newer garden area that the owners have started to create quite recently, but it's still very much in the making. So since I have limited time today, I'm gonna focus on this older, more established part of the garden. This sort of a delicate looking flowery bush with a white and dark red parts. I don't know what it is, but I would very much like to, since I think it's absolutely gorgeous. If anyone knows, please give me a tip what that is. I'm not sure if I've said this already, but perhaps the most gorgeous thing about this beautiful garden is this harmonious feel that sort of embraces you everywhere you go. It takes a hold of you when you first arrive, and it never lets you drop. It keeps you on its grip throughout this vast garden and all the garden areas. There's no end to the eye candy here. I mean, what is this clematis? It's just my color and style. Please let me know if you know. It's a gorgeous one. Let's continue our journey by these beautiful vistas we already saw when we came in. And perhaps here's a good spot to take a look back to where we came from. At the back there's the flowerbed island area, and here the lovely coffee, dining, resting, whatever sort of lounging area you might want to have. This sort of offers functions for all those things. Very pretty indeed. Then we'll go to our final area for this trip anyway. But before going into the kitchen garden, let's take a look to the secret garden pathway from this side too. It's gorgeous what some trees and shade can do. And now finally, stepping into the kitchen garden. As you can see, the style here is quite modern, which I quite like, even in an old place. Not everything has to be centuries old. Here on the left they have an interesting cage of some kind. I believe these must be bush blueberries. It's good to cage them because bunny rabbits like to eat even the stems of those. And here right next to it is again this lovely formation created by these huge boulders. In my opinion, this must be one of the most beautiful ways to create a raised bed. And I love the way they have continued to raise the eye level even higher with this beautiful scented peas. And of course the greenhouse at the background. Although I should say that one can actually enter this kitchen garden from at least these two angles, this being the front angle. I don't have a greenhouse myself, since at least for now I haven't gotten into growing my own food. But seeing examples of greenhouses like this one certainly encourage a thought of one day getting my own one. On the other side of the greenhouse, they've continued with similar theme and again with similar plantings. They do this very well in this garden indeed, the repetition. There's a lot to learn from this, I think. In fact, let's take a second look at this kitchen garden area as a whole, since I only have a few minutes left before I need to head back to the bus, and this was a quite small area, so a short tour is easy to do here. This relatively compact kitchen garden area somehow manages to compactly convey the message of this whole garden, which I think at the end of the day is to try and remember to treat all our garden areas as a whole, so that all our garden areas would fit together perfectly, and the transitions from one area to another would feel seamless and harmonious without any clashing. I really need to get back here to see that newer area later when they have gotten it more established. They have started an arboretum there at least, but by the looks of it, it seems there's gonna be loads and loads of new perennial areas there too. So, again, plenty of more things to see down there in the future. Thank you so much for joining me in this garden tour. If you have any thoughts or comments about this tour, or those tips to me that I inquired earlier, please do not hesitate to add a comment to this video. And as always, if you would like to stay tuned to these garden videos that I'm making, please do subscribe the channel and click on the notification bell. It's totally free and you'll be directly notified whenever I've posted a new video. Happy gardening to you all, and bye for now.